Don't mind us, we're just talking about Larry Laffer's penis. Hi, how you doing? It is once again time for YAR Talk. Let me just make sure everything that needs to be making noise is making noise. Good. Guys, apologies if my overlay is looking a little wonky. Discord has updated recently and decided to screw around with the whole way they do their full screen setup, and that messed with my overlay, so I had to change it on the fly. So, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be fun for FMA Club.
Thanks, Discord. Yeah, yeah. It's screwing all our shows up. In the meantime,
dramatic zoom on Ikifu.
Yeah. Holy shit, he got bigger.
Yeah, yeah, he does that.
What the hell?
Well, you mentioned Larry Laffer, and anyway,
He got sprung.
Ikifu's here. Have you noticed? We also got Rizoka and Pickle Dog, and Summer's back with us.
hey,
How's everybody doing?
Hello.
I am sleepy and I'm only here by the grace of the Gaby alarm, which is literally grabbing my face with his claws.
you could be like
the
that.
Gaby alarm. Praise be.
I
Tired,
think he
but
thought
you're ready
I
for
might
some
feed
nerds?
him.
Okay.
I might.
Yep, hanging in.
Hope everybody's.
DD for the cookies.
Yes, thank
Oh,
you.
hugs and
DD
cookies for
the
dinner.
eternal cookies. We always up.
I am hungry. Give me.
Pickle Dog's dogs are making themselves known.
Oh, and someone's
It's
buzzing.
someone's phone. That's isn't mine.
Professionalism. Who said we had it?
Not me.
Yeah, no, it's a doorbell ding. That's why.
Oh.
Dogs
anyway.
have opinions.
Naturally, gaming news is a little bit slow with the current goings on in the world, but we got a couple of items for you. First off, Whispers of a Machine has won 8 AGS awards. It's won for best writing, best gameplay, best puzzles, best music, best voice work, best programming. It was the best at not fucking up when you try to play it, I guess. And I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Best background art and best game created with AGS. Now, I'm not sure how many other entries there were in this year's AGS Awards, because I tried to look it up, and the official site just has a bunch of games from various years. It's not really all that conducive to searching. The only reason to know about Whispers of a Machine is because Clifftop Games posted about it on Twitter.
Oh, thanks for the raid, Human Interacts.
Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
raided.
thanks for the raid, Alexander. And congratulations to Whispers of a Machine for that.
Yeah, and I think that they're about to have a 1-year anniversary next weekend, and I think they're doing a live stream throughout to play the game to
cool.
celebrate that.
Interesting. Cool.
Also, I saw that best character was won by, I think, the main character from Feria Darles.
Where did you see that, though? Because, like I said, I tried to...
I think I just saw it passing by on Twitter, probably from the Feria Darles
Yeah, that's
account.
probably...
Yeah, I didn't really see anything else about it.
Not really a
either.
good sign for your award show when the best way people know how to find out who won what is occasional Twitter posts, not your actual website.
Yeah, I didn't really look into it, so maybe there was more on it that I just missed.
So is this the annual awards they're talking about, or a different
Apparently.
awards that they're doing?
Yeah, it's annual. Yeah. Last year,
forget what time of
Lamplight
year it
City
is.
won a few.
Yep.
Well, obviously. We're not biased.
Also,
Which is
I do
ironic for the game
remember-
where it's okay to fail.
I do remember hearing
We're never going to
something
stop using
about-
that.
There was a game Francisco voice acted in that was at least nominated by, I think, one as well for a category. I'm not sure which game anymore, but I did hear something about it.
Because I was going to say, he's voice acted in a few.
He gets around.
So who's got other news for us?
Lancelot's Hangover posted a Kickstarter update today, and they announced that the creator, who is also Belgian, announced that the game is live on Twitch and Steam, playable on Steam, but he still has to quash bugs and stuff and get it beta tested, so he's putting a, I guess, semi-tentative release date of mid-September or so, I think I read. But yeah, a lot of people have been looking forward to that comedy medieval adventure game, so that's good news.
Yep.
All right,
And speaking of comedy, medieval games. The Procession to Calvary has finally been released. After
Ooh.
Dinging?
I only just
What?
heard about that the other day from a post by what's his name? The giant trolls.
Yeah,
It's not been gone that
The
long.
giant.
Jesus.
No. Anyway, I was just gonna say I've got the list of all the winners up because they had them on the forum.
Oh,
Oh, okay. So who
Yeah,
won?
because they're very heavily forum based. All right, best game. Well, we know best game created. It'll be
Actually, better yet,
HDS.
send me the link in the Discord and I'll put it up on the screen.
Okay, it's
oh,
quite
that's a good idea.
long and it's not going to fit in one picture though because it's.
Yeah. And if
I
you
can
don't know
scroll.
what Procession to Calvary is, it's the same guy who made Four Last Things and the preposterous awesomeness of everything. It was very quirky, Python-looking type games.
Um,
And
is
I
that
only really
2020?
had to... What?
Oh,
The age is... This is 19.
There we go.
I guess.
Okay.
it's supposed from the 6th, but it may have been updated since then.
Oh, that's bright.
It does say Whispers of a Machine.
There
Yeah,
we go.
yeah, it's well, I guess 2019, but they only announced the winners this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
guess.
that's
January
it's usually
6th.
the awards for the previous year. So
yeah,
yeah.
it was posted on January 6th. So this is
Oh no,
the
but
most
yeah,
recent.
that's what's it called when they started it. They just keep editing it until it.
And
It does say Molly from Fairy Les as best character, so I was right about it.
this character art and Metaphobia. I don't think I've heard of that one, but it's apparently free. To judge from this one, best freeware game created with AGS. Also one for best animation.
Best animation, yeah.
Has anyone played that
Oh,
one?
now no, but now I remember the game that Francisco voiced in that apparently won a category is T42, a Detective
Yeah.
Logan case, and it won best short game.
Yeah, there it is. Best non-adventure game created with AGS is Tales of Javen. Again, not one I've heard of. Theropods. That one was in the most recent Adventure Jam, wasn't it? That sounds familiar.
Possibly T for 2 definitely was.
Yeah. Somebody refresh my memory. What's the Maggie?
Mags is like basically, they do it monthly. It's
Oh, right,
monthly AGS games, and I think the Maggie is like the best of, the ones they've done across the year.
Anyway, we got a couple more down here. Best innovation goes to Densming for his many video tutorials that taught a lot of people how to make games in AGS. I've seen one or two of
I've
his.
seen that one.
Yeah. Somebody else made AGS tutorials as well. It was who was it? The giant trolls.
Yeah, the glasses.
Yeah.
Makes strange faces when he's confronted by children.
Pronounces words weirdly.
And a Lifetime
Don't we
Achievement
all,
Award
though?
goes to Captain D, who I thought ran a fish restaurant, but anyway. He also creates many fun games for helping other developers make their own. So congratulations to all the winners. And we will, in fact, I'll go ahead and post the link right now in the chat so you can see it for yourself. Hey, there's us. Look at that. There we go.
See you
Captain
to
D also
infinity.
he also ran the best adventure game series, Paul.
There you go.
on
There's the link right
Twitter recently.
On what, sorry?
On Twitter, he ran a best adventure game series competition poll, and I think Monkey Island ended up winning that.
Sounds about
not
right.
100% sure, but I think
Monkey
I
Island
remember.
seems to win everything.
Yeah.
Including the how to phrase your Kickstarter headline. This game's just like Monkey Island.
Apparently.
Or if it's a murder mystery, this game's Laura Bow, except exactly when it is Laura Bow. But yes.
Have
Yeah,
we
a
heard
bit of it all.
anything?
Yeah,
Have you
speaking
heard
of,
anything more about
Yes,
the new Laura
yes.
Bow?
the totally official Laura Bow sequel.
No, I have to give it to them because what's it called? They got me.
Oh?
As in like I had because like the thing is
Did you forget what day of April it was?
I did no because the thing is it was in Australia, so I got it on April 3rd.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Third? Wait, what?
Yeah, they sent it a
Your
day
time
late.
zone isn't that drastically different.
No, they sent it on April 2nd.
They fucked that one, didn't they?
Yeah, so like here we go. This is like because again it was April 3rd when I read this, so I was like, oh yeah. After many discussions with investors and Activision, it's become clear that there's no longer belief that adventure games are a sustainable direction for a developer to handle it head on. However, the infinite runner concept is booming these days. So after much deliberation, we've decided to switch directions and make a different game called the Daily Tribune. And I was just like, oh good, you decided to change it. Like, you might be using that name, but and then I was just like, and then I started reading. It's like the game will feature Laura Burrow. I'm like, hang on. So we're not doing what I thought you were gonna do. And then like, they have a graphic of Sam Augustine, and I went, oh, you fucked up. You fucked up.
Is that an April Fool's joke?
Yes.
Sounds like it is. Yep.
Yeah.
A day
So-
It's
late,
a
but
recurring thing in the modern news cycle where everybody lifts news from everybody else, and yeah, you end up with an April Fool's joke showing up 3-4 days late. I mean, granted, this was their fault, but
Yeah. Hey, Red Star.
Yeah.
you know what? If they posted that yesterday, it might well have got me.
Yeah. So again, like I got that on April 3rd, so it got me because I was just like, oh good, you've decided to see reason, just decide to make your own game that, might be inspired. I mean, the fact that they called it Daily Tribune is kind of like, come on guys. Come up with something else. But, like what's it called? They got me, so they're still making it.
I guess
They
we
want
just
everyone
found
to
the best
stay
way to
safe.
play an April Fool's joke is not play it on April Fool's, so nobody
Yeah.
will be expecting it.
Yeah. Rizalka, just wondering, what would you think if they suddenly, truly, like for real, announced that they were actually going to make it as a hidden object game?
So I think
A
that
Laura
what's it
Bow
called?
hidden object game?
Yeah. I think that would be fine. Like, what's it called?
It would
It's
work.
something different and novel. But the whole thing is that I wouldn't want them to do it the way that they're currently making the characters. The only one that I would say is fine is Sam Augustini. Where's Steve? Where is Steve? Every time we talk about this, we always talk about like, oh, this isn't quite Laura and all that and blah, blah, blah. But I've just, like, the last time I realized, I went, no one's mentioning where the fuck Steve is. Like, they've got like something like 12 characters that they've got pictures of. None of them are Steve.
He died of dysentery.
I think they want to replace him as a romantic suitor for Laura.
But you kind of can't at this point because, like, of Gabriel Knight.
Hang on.
Because they got married.
Are we still streaming?
We are.
Okay.
Dropped for a second, but it's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitch always scares me when the Twitch preview starts buffering. All right. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but at that point, it literally becomes just Laura and Sam Augustini. And then at that point, it's like, you've only used 2 characters from the original, from these games. Make something new. Make something new.
But don't bring back
Yeah.
Steve. He's a creepy stalker.
Wasn't John Bow also among the characters they announced?
No, it was they mentioned him, but they didn't actually take a picture of him because Ziggy's okay. I'm sorry, Ziggy's dead. Most of the characters,
I mean,
some of them survived.
It's
Zero
set in the
would die.
20s. They're all dead at this point.
Dan Nastic asks, most important question of today, what game do we have to look forward to so that you shut the fuck up about Animal Crossing? Hey, me and Icky are no longer, well, I'm no longer playing it. Icky has never touched it, so...
No.
I haven't touched any Animal Crossing game.
Animal Crossing.
Just
I
never crossed my
literally only
path.
started. Yeah, like what's it called? I think I'm not much long for that world because like the fact that yesterday I turned it on just because I was like, if I miss out on today, then I'm gonna miss out on money. But then I was like, I don't really want to play right now.
Yeah.
So
The thing is,
it's getting into chore world. So
it's a nice distraction for a while, but we have so much going on in our lives at the moment with the whole, you know what? It's kind of hard to stay focused on it.
yes, because
Is my
especially when
is my feeling at least.
yeah, especially when there's so much more interesting things that I can play, such as the Dark Parable hidden object games.
Interesting.
I mean,
Off-
there's
off.
what,
Or-
13, 14 Carol Reed games you've not played yet?
Or,
Yeah.
if you
Yes,
have an
and
Xbox
I'm-
One, you can now play Abduction. since that game just got a port on
and what's it called?
Xbox.
I am about to buy a Carol Reed game. But
Why?
it's one of those things.
Haven't you subjected yourself to enough of them?
No,
Oh
wait,
God!
can
Did
I
you
get-
see the last one? It was
Yes.
friggin' hilarious. Apart
gonna-
from
Yeah.
one part.
Which part was
Okay,
that?
I'm listening. Which part is this? You haven't told me
The
this.
the part. I have told you. We talked about it. We talked
the
about it
bicycle
on
key or the socks.
the gravestone.
Oh.
Oh.
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
the Metallica guy or what?
The
Yes.
the bassist
Yeah.
of Metallica. A picture of his grave is the puzzle, and it does not look like a Photoshop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm suspicious
For
that he took
those
a
that
real
haven't
photo
seen,
of the real grave and
seen
used
the
it.
game, there's a puzzle involving the gravestone of presumably, I'm assuming he really has passed on, bassist
He
of
has,
Metallica,
yes.
and
Yeah.
me, Rizalka and Icky and everybody in the chat was basically just sitting here wondering whether or not they actually contacted the estate of this poor dude.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. No,
Wondering is being a
probably
little
not.
charitable.
Oh, good. It's come down. Okay, so it's only $22.
no.
No, so I've
Human
decided-
Interact is having problems streaming to Chromecast. Too much.
Aw.
What I'm gonna decide is pronounced Europeanness.
Yeah, Europeans. But
I don't see it in a
what's
broch.
it called? No, I'm gonna buy the first game in the series because I want to see if the last one we played was the best that he has done in terms of like the whole thing. Where did we start?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce this is going to be the last appearance of Rizalka. She will be from henceforth in a mental asylum after she
That-
plays the
actually,
first
it
Carol
didn't-
Reed game.
It didn't break me. Like what's it called? It didn't break me. It didn't break me. It didn't break
Yet.
me.
Leave.
Uh,
Rizalka, hello.
Yeah.
Come back.
No, like what's it called? I think what I looked at last night was more traumatic, actually, because I was looking for some. I was like, I needed a game for FMV. Well, actually, I've got several games for the new version of FMV Club, but I suddenly went, oh, I need a specific game because I was like, I'd seen it on eBay and I almost bought it, and I just went, I don't actually have that in my collection. I'll have to see it if it's on a certain website. So I went on there and stumbled across a new titty game. Well, I say new. It came out in 1993. And it's the most graphically sexual that I've seen so far.
And what game is this? Just
Full
out of
French.
curiosity.
It was called The Dream Machine, and it's apparently will adapt to my darkest fantasies. I'm not sure how it does that, but the fact that it had the video quality was actually better than most of these video clip games that I've seen, like even later on.
See, what that makes me think of is DVD releases, but is this not in Windows 3.1?
Windows 3.1, yes.
Kigurami
It's
says-
1993.
Kigurami says, so they're old titties by now. They're only 27 years old. Dude.
No, like what's it
Weirdly, there
called?
is a game called The Dream Machine, which is one of those stop
yeah.
motion ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
while
Yeah,
ago.
you reviewed
no.
that, and I don't recall titties being in there.
No.
I
you
can
would
confirm
definitely
that
know.
it is
Yeah.
titty free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Teen
yeah,
free
no, like-
too, while we're at it.
Oh, hey,
Francisco.
We have
summoned
summoned
him with
we have summoned the
titties.
Grundy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's generally me, but yeah. So, like, what's that called? Because I've mentioned it a couple of times before. The only one of these type of games, titty games, that I actually downright shut just because it was just so in my face with everything was, I think it was called Diva X, and she shouted at me in Russian, and then suddenly I had an internal shot of her groin, and I was just like, no, I'm out.
Gynecologist view.
Gynecologist, yeah, exactly. I think she was shouting at me that it was her time for her, what's it called, her pap smear. But, yeah.
Rizalka, do you know any phrases in Russian? I know one, but I don't think it's going to be very helpful.
Which
I
is,
was
speak
trying to
Russian.
talk about abduction, and suddenly we're here. How did this happen?
Hi.
Hi, this is
Nice to meet
Rizalka.
you.
You're obviously meeting her for the first time.
Well, somebody brought up a cyan game. I guess it just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so, like, I mean, I actually haven't played the game yet. I was just like, looking at the clips on the disc. Because that's sometimes what I do. That's what I did with Ghostly Desires when I couldn't play it, and went, oh, it's actually essentially a soft porn game. It's just, at most they go like, hey, would you like to go to bed? Follow me into this room. After almost showing my titties. But what's it called? This one went straight into like, you know, like there was like two women in a what's it called? In a jail cell, and then I was just like, it cut a scene and I just went, oh, okay, we're already at that point. Wait, where's he coming from?
No. I
Somebody
wanted
get me
Diddy,
outta
but
here.
he's too much Diddy.
Yeah.
Don't know why I went Russian for that.
Nah.
Oh, just the
well,
mention of Cryo Interactive made me think there.
of Russians?
In the Carol Reed's game that you were playing, you know, remember
Yes.
the shot of the bookshelf
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
in her apartment? There
Oh,
is a
in her
Cryo
apartment.
Interactive game on that
Yes.
bookshelf.
well,
I think that
he's-
explains a lot.
Yeah. The game like obviously Carol's apartment is the game developers. So there's a lot, like, it's kind of like Carol doesn't talk about her gaming obsession, but she clearly has a problem.
Yeah, the game is like that kind of missed click to go a place style, but with real life photographs.
Yeah, although like what's it
PowerPoint
called?
click.
My
Mm,
favorite
Yes.
thing about that
Yeah, I
is
love that.
she never talks about the reason why she has two PCs side by side.
mm.
But I
mean,
read it
I've
up, so it's
technically got
actually
two PCs. One's a laptop, but still.
Yeah, but you're not a middle-aged what's it called, expat living in Sweden who's interested in homebrew wine because she's too poor to make actual wine and to buy actual wine.
This comes up in the ending. Spoilers, by the way,
Yes.
but
Yeah, yeah. But
I can
but
afford
yeah,
a real
no,
bottle of
so-
wine.
Yeah, she's like, I never bought a real bottle of wine. I don't have to worry about homebrew. We're like, we're one step away. But well, I want to do a show where we show Twitch rules and then draw acceptable outfits.
That
I
sounds like
think
the new
Alexander's had
Jackbox
some
game.
wine.
But yeah, no, like, what's it called? So, like, I read up about it, and so the developer and his wife, that's their house. So the main computers of Carol's is his, and then the other computer's hers. And that I think that they have to take the photography at like 4 a.m. in the morning. That's the reason why all the streets are empty, because that's the only time that they can pretty much
But
get the pictures of everything without
The
people
room
in it.
shots were indoors.
No, I was talking about in
could take-
general.
They could
Yeah,
take
that's
those
the stuff.
anything.
And that's the reason
Uh,
why everything happens in spring, because what's it called? Because otherwise they would see nothing. You would see nothing.
Well, as I've heard before, if your house is too cold, you don't have enough computers in it. So that's the other explanation.
Yeah, flipping folding at home has been keeping my bedroom warm. It's great.
Indeed.
I mean, who needs central heating when you got a Dell?
I think she's busy, mate.
No.
No, shut up. Abduction! It's on Xbox One. Cyan released a trailer, a very, what's the word? Mysterious, for lack of a better term, trailer on Twitter. It was pointed out to me on my Discord, and my first thought was similar to many people who commented on the Twitter post, and that thought was, because it didn't really say much beyond abduction and a date. But it turns out that date was referring to the release of the Xbox One port. And to celebrate that, the Cyan store has been working overtime with their designs, and they've released some new stuff for their store, new shirt designs. Take a look. Wow. Just, I can't believe the intricate details that have gone on into this bullshit. You know, what is this?
Oh,
Absolutely
shit
fabulous.
me.
Yep, it's pretty much like the last time we looked at their store. Just the shirt with the word on it, and way
Not
too
even a
damn
real
much.
picture.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did make fun of this before, Gigarama, when the store first launched. Then they had the mist shirts and ribbon shirts and everything.
And
Kevin
then
has a
went
good
to-
point. You're not a real picture. How do you respond to this?
My life is a lie.
Congratulations, Kevin. You broke him.
Oh.
But yeah, if you want to go spend $30 for a shirt you can make for 10, go ahead. There's the Cyan store for you.
I was going to say we made fun of a completely different T-shirt, but completely different is not exactly the right words to use.
It is not the right word at all. Somewhat different. It's a different word. That's about it.
It was taken from a different angle.
Nada says, I like the font color. I mean, it's black.
It's a color.
The
Yeah,
words
that-
damned with faint praise spring to mind.
Anyway, we're gonna try and Icky's gonna try and recover from the savage blow that Kevin gave him to talk about our main topic.
Aww.
And our main topic this week is a sort of debate / discussion of the merits of upscale or filtered re-releases of games versus just proper remasters of them. And this is another topic that I am going to kindly hand over to my colleagues on the panel because in my particular case, the one doesn't really make that much of a difference over the other. I'm just happy to play a game. If it's good. If it's shit, then get it away from me. But if it's good, I don't care if it's filtered or remastered. But what are your thoughts on it? We'll start with the hooded one. Right?
And how do you respond to that accusation?
Well, now I can't understand a word you're saying.
Well, that's just racist.
Oh.
No, the majority of times you see this kind of filtered technique used.
Yeah, racist.
It is in the sort of scum VM, throw a filter on it and call it good
Right.
type of way. I've not seen it done well, like ever. There is no one filter that will fix all of this stuff. I understand it is a lot of effort and time and money and etc. to redraw everything and actually make it properly upscaled.
But Gabriel Knight 1 remaster.
Well, that's going to 3D. That's kind of a slightly different one. Like if you compare Data
scales
Tentacle
on this.
remaster to, I was going to say Fenimore Fillmore, but one, that's a terrible example of the filter in progress, and two, no buggers heard of it. So Simon the Sorcerer went the filter route and actually advertised it, having that. That was a feature. That was like a Steam description.
Yeah.
Feature. We have this filter that
Makes everybody look like
hideous
a blob.
blobs. Yeah. I don't get it. I like the sharp pixels though. I might be the outlier on this one.
No, I like the sharp pixels.
I do like the sharpy pixely. What could actually? I'll let some other thoughts go out first, and then go something I can add on later.
Just as a just as a out of context, this has been going on longer than a lot of us think. The Sam & Max Hit the Road Windows release of 2002, I think, shipped with a filter enabled by default, and
What was the implementation on that? Was it ScumVM?
no, they actually made a Windows Scum interpreter for that game. I should actually try it with other Scum games and see if it runs them. But yeah, no, it's got a little Windows 32-bit interpreter, and it's very bare bones. The game largely runs as it did before, but it's got a handful of extra options.
Come to think of it, that might be the same kind of thing they did for Fate of Atlantis, because I've got that on Steam. And
Actually, yes, Fate of Atlantis got to treatment too. You're right.
And I don't remember a filter being involved. Maybe I just didn't explore the options much, but it was just sort of displayed the game, and that seemed to be about it.
And there's a few other and it's interesting to bring up LucasArts because they've also kind of done both. I mean, you have the Monkey Island 1 and 2 remakes, you have the Day of the Tentacle remake, in addition to these kind of early 2000s Windows re-releases. And I would consider the I guess where I'm trying to go is Day of the Tentacle is the kind of game that would probably work quite well with a filter because of its style. You just have to kind of, it's cartoony. It's got a lot of solids and just flat areas and hard edges, and a well-designed filter could do well with it. And that's kind of the direction the art direction of the remaster went. Was you could literally lay the old art on top of the new, and they'll line up. They actually redrew it at the higher res.
Yeah, I mean, like, surely that's the starting point. You just basically get the sprite or the background or whatever that you're redrawing in the background and draw it over it. If
you do the same thing with the Monkey Island remasters, I mean, obviously the pieces all still fit, but the art is dramatically different.
Well, that's kind of another area too, because the Monkey Island remasters, they basically did both. There was a total remastering of the graphics, but then you could press a button and you've got upscaled original graphics.
And sometimes it worked.
and that's interesting, and that's yet another version of Scum that LucasArts created. That's not Scum VM. It's their own thing, and it's got that clever switching mode.
Although that does bring up another point, which is if you are going to go the remaster route, actually put the resources into it.
Yes.
Now, I believe the first Monkey Island Special Edition is a different case because it was basically worked on in secret and presented when it was, say, 75% done or something, rather than, can we do this thing? Because they get told no, because LucasArts was run by fuck monkeys at that point. And it does show in some of the art, like some of the backgrounds for Insult Sword Fighting, clearly not finished. Like, you can spot some parts of the old background that were never touched up.
Right.
But as Rizalka brought up, there are bad ways to do a remaster as well. Would you like to?
Yeah, I was about to touch on that. She mentioned Gabriel Knight, the Gabriel Knight remaster, which I haven't played, but you said, Gordon, that's more 3D than anything else. So, I was going to say, is there a line that a game crosses where it goes from being a remaster to just a full-on remake?
I made a whole video about this, so my thoughts are out there.
So basically, when it comes to Gabriel Knight 1 remaster, like, as much as we could say, yes, it's a 3D game, it's still a 2.5, well, actually, it's a 2.5D game, but it's, baked on sprites and pre-rendered sprites on top of a pre-rendered background.
Sort of like Resident Evil.
No, because you're still moving inside a 3D space there. It's just everything's already been pre-baked. There's what's it called? But this is kind of more like that. It's still a 2D game. It's just all the assets have been made out of 3D. But what's it called? So but in doing so, they took out all the charm out of Gabriel Knight because there's that inherent loss of fluidity when you move to 3D, which is kind of a weird thing when you think about it, that something that's 2D has more of a fluid motion than something 3D. But
especially at 15 frames a second.
Oh yeah, and like what's it called? They also got a they redid the music, and somehow, like, even though it's made by the same person who made it originally, like, it's Roman Holmes, that just lost something in the music as well, and like they added stuff in. It looked like at some point we're going to add some hidden object scenes and then chickened out of them. So it's just kind of like, you've done more than a remaster here, and what you have added is shit. Can I go back to the original game, please?
And yes, I'm sorry, Alex. There's a lot of work in these remasters, and and they need to be celebrated. But sometimes they make the game worse.
Yes,
you really do.
Alex basically quoting every AAA game developer ever in the chat there. Gotta get that charm out of our game before we ship it to the masses.
Gotta get out of this game before we ship it to the masses.
People might actually like this. We can't have that.
Okay, what I would... Oh, sorry, Summer, you go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think particularly for the upscale filter, the re-releases. Um, Speaking for relatively recent games like not 2002 and such, but for the relatively recent releases like the Sand and Sorcerer re-release, if they're just doing upscale, filter upscale, that's just a super cheap and lazy way to get a re-release that'll try to make the money, and it's just such a cheap cash in, and often it doesn't do the game service at all. It often makes it look worse or play worse. Controls often aren't up to scratch compared to the original, and it's just they're not doing the game's real service, and a lot of people see through that. They'll have some success with a re-release just because of people who don't know better to see, oh, this game I love, it's being re-released, so I want it on my mother's system. But like people like us who know their stuff, they're instantly going to know that it's not as good, and they're going to prefer the original. So,
I mean,
it's a bit sad.
Probably the only time that I've played a re-release or a remaster that I've been more affectionate about would have to be like the Sierra ones when they decided to remake things for VGA. I mean, what's it called? Quest for Glory 1, not so much a success, but what's it called? Leisure Suit Larry 1 VGA. That's my favorite version of Leisure Suit
That is
Larry
a good
1.
remaster.
Yeah. I mean,
but those were like in the 90s.
Yeah, but just because it's in the 90s doesn't mean it can't be.
No, but I mean,
everything from the 90s was bad.
Back then,
it's common knowledge.
Back then, it made sense, I think, but nowadays, it's just a lazy way.
I couldn't understand why we had to remake King's Quest. What's it called?
Quest for Glory.
No, Gabriel Knight 1 Spear. When we had the GOG version working perfectly fine. But from what because I think like the whole idea
it's just a board executive pressing the nostalgia button.
Well, actually, I was going to say that the reasoning that I heard behind it was that Jane was like that Activision wanted it before they could suggest even doing Gabriel Knight 4. But it's like show that there's there's still interest in it, and then we'll go ahead and do it. And it's like,
Did they also take away the old version of Gabriel Knight from the storefront?
I don't think so.
And did they make sure you had to sign into your beat.net account?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something Simon
must be connected to Bethesda.net. Gabriel Knight's not even a Bethesda game. I don't care.
It's not an adventure game, but I think the Doom releases on Switch also suffered that. They suddenly had to have an account.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that was a famous meme going around.
Yeah, I mean, I bring that up because that was a case where they pulled the old working versions in favor of the new somewhat broken ones, and sometimes these publishers do that.
Yeah, GOG has both.
Simon the Sorcerer that happened with non-adventure game examples. The Duke Nukem 3D happened with as well.
Yeah, GOG has both the original and remaster/make version of Sins of the Fathers.
All right, if you're gonna play the first one.
The original. There you go.
one. Yeah.
The first one.
The original has charm. The original has tension. The new one doesn't have tension.
Yeah, that's usually the safe bet, just playing the original.
The original doesn't have characters taking 2 fucking seconds to turn around. I may have slightly exaggerated that. It's been a while.
Yeah, they do that whole...
He has to flick his hair.
Yeah.
To be fair, that is a
shitty hair.
Trademark.
Yeah.
His shitty hair he has in that game.
All right, so we had a question from Dan earlier.
Just one more thing before we get off the topic.
Go ahead.
I'm interested, and this is not adventure game related. It's kind of FMV related, so it's like it's
I'll allow
nothing to do with it. But the AI upscaling that we've been seeing recently. That might be a viable tactic for getting some of these games to any decent level of detail.
What do you mean AI upscaling?
Look, the AI actually looks at the pictures and upscales it. I did see one that was Gabriel Knight 2, but it doesn't...
Good candidate.
It actually makes it it adds wrinkles to like people. So like I can't
We're
remember.
just bringing
who it
them up
was.
to date to how they look now.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, this
Basically, if you don't know, this is machine learning being used to upscale images and video and add details that
Vision,
may have been
artificial
lost.
intelligence.
Machine
Yeah,
learning
and-
is why I'm no longer on YouTube, so fuck that.
Yeah, no, but it's worth mentioning the AI upscaling is fascinating. I mean, we've a lot of us have seen the results that have been done on for example, Space Quest 4, King's Quest 5, but it doesn't really count as a filter more so much as it's a way of letting the computer do the remastering for you. It's done offline. You can't just it's not like Super Regal or whatever else your favorite filter is, where you can just flip a switch and turn it on. This is something that you've got to kind of run through a machine learning algorithm and let it chew on it, and the result might come out wrong, and you have to tweak the parameters and.
Yeah, so these would be like replacement assets.
Yeah.
That the AI generation was
Oh,
generating.
we got Alex's attention.
All right, so we'll come
It
back
has
to
got some good results, is the point, and it could have some applications. And the reason I thought it was adjacently related is because it's what they're going to use on Command and Conquer Remastered, because they can't find the original tapes.
Well, we'll come back to this topic in a bit, but again, Dan had a question. The best game, he wants to know, to negate current real-world events. I guess by negate, he means basically just sort of take your mind off it and distract it. There's this brilliant game on Switch that just got released a month ago. May or may not have something to do with animals.
And something about a crossing?
Yeah, something about it.
Oh, poor Dan.
But no, my suggestion would actually be something along those lines.
Doom,
sort of-
yes.
Farming simulator games like Stardew Valley, or maybe to spoil a little bit of a video I'm working on, there's a game called World's Dawn that's available on Steam. It's sort of similar to that. But yeah, just sort of, I guess, just any sort of peaceful game where there's no kind of pressure to save the world or anything like that. Just nice, relaxing, chill games would probably would probably fit the bill.
Yeah,
And
Stardew
on
Valley
top
is
of
an
that
easy
is something you
recommendation.
can work on as well. Like you can sort of build something up. There's not a failure state, but there is improvements you can make.
So I just linked
Minecraft,
in
of course,
chat.
comes to mind.
Yeah, I just linked in chat that Gabriel Knight 2 AI thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there
I
are a
think it's
lot
added
of
patterns to the curtains, but
fun
apart from
casual
that,
games.
I'll just
to
go ahead
take
and
your
link
mind off
that in
things.
to Twitch.
Like Dan as a console player, I'm having a hard time thinking of many casual console games, but like I think
Stardew Valley's on everything.
yeah, Stardew
And-
Valley,
and
but
so is
like
Minecraft.
something
And so
so
is
something
Minecraft.
different than those two. I think, for example, like Plants vs Zombies is very fun,
That's a
casually
great little
brainless,
game.
and I believe that's on console or at least on mobile. So, for example, that might be a good one as well. I don't know. Personally, I think anything that you find relaxing and takes you out of
Chocolatier.
chocolatier, but that's only on PC
Rizalka,
as well.
don't swear.
But,
We say that, but
no.
people keep asking me for more.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to answer that one.
Just whatever. you
Personally,
find
I've just
fun
been
and takes your mind
going
off.
through the backlog. That's a hard
Yeah.
word to say all of a sudden. Backlog.
Yeah. Yes, during this isolation period, I will go through every single one of my hidden object games.
That's a lot.
If you can find them.
How many do you
I
own
have
again? Big
found
Fish,
them.
like 200s?
If the Big Fish launcher actually works.
So I
works
have
this
a
week.
list at the moment that is 158 games long.
I actually thought it was more than that.
No, you're
that's
thinking of the
not-
Titty Game catalog.
That's not including the stuff that I've already streamed. So
That's assuming you do one per week. That's 3 years worth.
I
of
mean,
content.
I've done 3 in the last week. So
Okay, then 1 years of content.
They get very good what's it called ratings. People look at them a lot more than like. It's interesting to see, like, because I've been chunking up my streams and all that to put on YouTube, and Until Dawn, barely anything. Carol Reed is the real winner at the moment, and then the hidden object games are kind of more towards the Carol Reed sort of thing, because I think it's stuff that people haven't really played, so it's proof.
To be
People
fair,
like
that's
my
also
obscure shit.
got something to do with the fact that Until Dawn is how should I describe this? Shit. So.
But Carol Reed
is not as shit as Until Dawn.
No, come on.
Oh,
I don't know
it's
if
not
I
that
agree with
bad.
that. I think
There's
Until
more.
Dawn
There's
is a lot
more
of fun.
interaction at least in Until Dawn.
Yeah. Oh yes, and don't spoil Until Dawn. Alex is going to play it soon.
I like that. Dude's
Until
like,
Richard Cobbett threatens to snap a CD off a Carol Reed game.
Very true.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Like, so we were playing it together, and about halfway through the second night of us playing it, he just said, I can snap this for you. That's no trouble. It's no trouble. I'm like, I paid like 40 Australian bucks for this. It's no trouble. I'm doing you a service. I can just snap the DVD for you.
Yeah, Alex raises very good points.
Yeah.
Until Dawn is just goofy, wacky fun that indeed you can make fun
And we're
of.
killing all the children.
Or you can play it like that. I don't know.
They
I
all
like
deserve to die.
having
I
at
mean-
least some of them survive.
Well, I mean, it's that summer blockbuster horror movie where you're watching all these insufferable characters, and some of them get killed, and you hate all of them, and now you get to kill all of them.
Yeah.
Point, I suppose.
Men of Medan is worse, though.
Haven't got the whole idea of us doing this is that eventually we're just gonna start buying the others, and also Erica. I'd like to play Erica.
It does not come recommended from certain
No,
quarters.
but he doesn't recommend anything FMV related except
That's
for,
true. He mild
yeah.
bias. Wait,
Yeah,
what does he recommend?
It was Telling Lies.
I have
Didn't
yet to
Francisco
play that,
say he's
actually.
going to make an FMV
No,
game?
yeah. What was that? Someone?
Didn't Francisco say he was going to make an FMV game? I think I remember him
No,
saying something like that.
It
He,
sounds
He was
like
pretty
him.
adamant about making it. Yeah.
I think it's a safe assumption.
only if it's about opening a single door from memory, just like across like several DVDs and all. Well, actually, that reminds me of what's it called? Because I was getting stuff together for the new version of FMV Club.
Oh, thanks for the plug, Dan.
Yeah, well, thank you,
Yeah,
Dan.
and
yes.
I put in like
No,
what's
he
it
was
called,
plugging me, but I mean,
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I was thanking him on your behalf.
Oh, okay,
I
gotcha.
put the first CD in, and then I went to hit install, and it said put in CD 5, and I was like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
You've got a buddy if you want to play Erica, apparently. Human Interact is
Yeah.
interest.
Well, you wanted to play it as well. When
I
we
do
saw
too
it
want
at
to play it,
Adventure X,
yes.
Yeah.
There could be two.
All right, so getting
Intrigue.
back to the main topic of upscale filters, re-releases, and
Yeah.
remasters and all that.
that
Question: what game of the past that isn't currently available, or maybe is currently available but hasn't been given either one of those treatments, would you like to see either re-released or remastered or both? And
Strike 2.
Shut up.
That's not a
No.
remake. That's a
Yeah, that's
That's a
entirely
first release.
different thing.
I'll take either.
Yeah. This is not sequels that didn't happen. This is games that actually made it out. All the Cineware games. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, either follow or subscribe to my channel. I'll take either. But the first thing that came to mind when I thought of the question was surprisingly enough, Titanic Adventure at a Time, which it's available now. It's on GOG and I think Steam. But suffice to say, that could definitely do with a touch up, at least as far as how it runs on modern systems, if nothing else, even if the graphics are left alone. But yeah,
yes.
I'd like
Please
to.
leave the graphics alone, because part of that joy is the way that people talk.
There is some charm in that. I will grant you. But yeah, I'd like to see at least a little bit of love given to that one.
Human Interact, are you talking about MGS1 on the PlayStation or MGS1, the Twin Snakes on the GameCube. Like, which one would you see remade here?
The original, I think, would be the best option.
Yeah,
Okay,
because there was a GameCube remake.
Yeah, I was going to say,
of
hadn't it
Metal Gear
already been
Solid.
remade?
Yeah, and Metal Gear has a long and storied history. It's like one would wonder if they ever decide to bring back like the old MSX games or something.
Oh, when would they ever do that?
Honestly, can't think of anything that I feel like would need a.
DD suggests a game called The Dragon Riders of Pern, which I can't say I've heard of.
Dragon Riders of Porn, you say?
Pern. Pern.